What are the 7 most prominent signs of spiritual development, and can you detect them in yourself? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome to this space. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about my list of the 7 most prominent signs of spiritual development. And at the same time, these are actually principles that we have to master along this path. Number 1, a shift to an innate authority. So the more you grow energetically, the more conscious you become of yourself and your life, you actually remove hooks from the outside, particularly from any kind of outside authority. And you start going inward. Because what happens is that you actually start noticing your inner guiding voice. You start noticing your innate guiding voices, capacities, abilities, and you start receiving signs and messages. So you're not so much hooked to the outside as an outside authority to tell you what to do, when to do, where to go, where not to go. You're now more and more drawn inward, you're connected with yourself, and you start communicating with your inner guiding voice. The second, resonance versus judgment. Basically, what happens here is that you start moving away from judging things through your lower mind, and you start energetically assessing things in your surrounding, people, places, and that's by the resonance principle. So it could be in your day-to-day, it could be at work, it could be the people you encounter and meet, life choices that you decide on, and steps that you start taking in life. You stop judging them, you stop looking at them as good or bad. You actually enter more an energetic realm of evaluating and assessing your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, the people in your surrounding, and how you just generally go about life. The third sign of spiritual development is a shift away from lack mentality towards abundance. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, what happens is the further along you are on this path, you somehow change the lens through which you see yourself, you see your world, and the things you are experiencing. Now, it's possible that this shift of lens is kind of slow for you, and it's not so unusual that along the way of trying to shift this lens, you actually start experiencing and encountering a lot of obstacles because there's so much programming that we experience throughout our life, started by the family or society, and wherever you go, the focus is more on the lacks, the things we don't have but we want. So it's possible that you first actually have to go through changing your mindset and your beliefs around these things, but the shift is inevitable. You slowly but surely start looking through the lens of abundance. And simply put, it means that you see things not as the glass half empty, but you actually look at things from the lens that the glass is half full. And that helps you, that kind of gives you also a boost in your spiritual development because now the energies can flow more freely. And the ultimate abundance boost, here another tip from my side, gratitude. So if you're looking to increase your abundance mentality and the energy of abundance in your life, gratitude is the way to do it. Being thankful for all the wonderful things, and you can be creative. You can really be creative and just be grateful for anything and everything that you encounter. and see what happens. Sign number 4, an increase in your connectedness. What I mean is that the more aware you become of that inner voice, that inner guidance, the more you actually start noticing it and becoming aware of it, how it's either communicating internally with you or how it's sending you signs and messages from the outside with the help of cooperative components, so to speak. And you become really good at detecting a pattern. And this pattern helps you to become really fast within a split second of noticing if something is maybe a message by your inner voice, your intuition, your higher self, soul, whatever you want to call it. And you also then, after you've discovered this pattern, you actually start integrating ways and steps of actively communicating with this voice in your daily life. Sign number 5, heart and mind coherence. Now, it's actually not something you do in an active manner. It's a process that happens automatically. How does it happen automatically? The more you connect with your soul and your higher self, with your intuition, and the more you clear out false beliefs and wounds from your system, the more this pathway actually starts strengthening. And the relationship between your heart and your logical mind actually then starts increasing. The reason I'm saying you don't actually do that actively is because it means you also don't necessarily need to buy an expensive course to strengthen that heart-mind coherence. Now, you can do so, but the more you take care of the other aspects on the spiritual journey, you will just notice that this pathway starts strengthening and the heart-mind coherence becomes more prominent. Sign number 6, an acceptance for the path of others. Basically, what happens is when you start your journey, your spiritual awakening, and the more excited you are at the beginning, you tend to want to talk about it, which is very natural, and there's nothing wrong about it. You want to share your experiences with people, and you want to share your insights with them, because maybe then they too can benefit from that and start their journey, or maybe walk their journey in a faster manner. But the longer time passes, you actually start realizing that nothing really that you do or say has a direct effect on the spiritual path of another. And you start pulling back and not speaking of all the things you're experiencing so much. You retract back to yourself, and your focus shifts on yourself and the path and the experiences you're having. And you also realize that there are certain ethical reasons for not doing, overstepping boundaries in the spiritual way. And you actually start also incorporating this ethics in your spiritual growth. Maybe at the beginning it's hard for you to draw back and not to share these things with other people, especially, and now it doesn't mean you shouldn't share it at all, but especially with people who don't really support you and wish you well, basically, on your path. So you stop sharing it with those people, you pull back, you realize, who can I speak with about this topic or that topic, and who should I maybe avoid speaking about it? And at some point you reach a state of peace with the fact that you let other people walk their path as it suits them and as maybe from a higher place they have chosen for themselves, and you focus primarily on yourself. Sign number 7, your view and understanding of reality. What do I mean by this point? So basically, the clearer you start seeing yourself, the clearer you start viewing your life, inevitably, you also start viewing the world and things that are happening in this world more clearly. You actually start realizing that anything that manifests here in the physical realm has gone through multiple energetic layers. And your outlook on the world emphasizes that as well. So basically what you're seeing is the end result of an energetic process of going through multiple layers. And what happens after that is that you actually realize that you cannot navigate this world with your physical senses alone. And you realize that it's important to enhance your intuitive senses and your energetic senses. And that was the 7th sign from my point of view. I hope this helps you on your path of spiritual development.